Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. This is Tina Salisbury, Collaboration Manager with Combined Arms. And today I'm excited that we have with us our CEO, John Boerstler. And we also have a guest from Rice Glasscock School of Continuing Studies, David Vassar. And we're going to be talking about the Combined Arms Institute that was recently launched. Many of our member organizations have probably already heard of it, and some people may not have heard of it, or if you have, you're not really clear on what the Combined Arms Institute is. So I'm going to hand it over to John and let him speak about his vision and how the Combined Arms Institute got started.
Yeah, thanks so much, Tina, and thanks, Dr. Vassar, for being on with us today. I'm excited to ask you some questions about Rice VSO 2.0 and what that looks like. But first, really a quick overview of what the Combined Arms Institute is hoping to be. It's kind of a roll-up of some of our existing programs, be that some professional development and leadership development programming that we offer for our member organizations. We're putting all of those programs into what we call VSO 2.0. So like taking VSOs, veteran serving organizations, into the 21st century and beyond, and really investing in those like meso level managers so that they can in turn become the next leaders of our organizations, both on the government side and the nonprofit side. And then, of course, policy and research. So we have three major verticals, so to speak: VSO 2.0, which will hopefully, further professionalize and invest in our workforce in the veteran serving organization space. Policy and research, which is also something that we've worked with our friends at Rice University on, as well as Texas A&M University and the Bush School and the University of Texas Institute for Military and Veteran Family Wellness. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But really the impetus behind the policy and research vertical is taking all of this data, all of this critical information on learning how to best serve veterans and their families, and turning that into actionable steps to make policy more effective and make the process of transitioning from the military to civilian life more effective, faster, and just overall just reach greater outcomes in a shorter period of time for the clients that we serve. And then finally, the third vertical is really the growth of our model as a backbone organization, and validating what this collective impact model has really become in the veteran space, and really helping those other communities that organically come to Combined Arms and our partners. They're seeking some of the innovative solutions that we've arrived at on how to build a systems approach, how to build a backbone organization, how to hold each other accountable for how quickly and effectively we serve veterans and their families. So lots to unpack in a short period of time. I'm gonna, with that, love to introduce Dr. David Vassar, who serves as the Assistant Dean for Professional and Corporate Programs at the Susan Glasscock School for Continuing Studies at Rice University here in Houston, Texas. And David, I thank you so much for your time. And I just wanted to, you got a visitor too. We're all at home, so it always happens, right? So wanted to pass it over to you and really kind of, if you could give us a great overview of our partnership, what
Sure.
the VSO2 or Rice VSO 2.0 looks like, and what you're excited about.
Great. Thanks so much, John, and thank you, Tina, for pulling this together, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to share this platform with you. We are really excited about this partnership with Combined Arms, and I guess it started 18 months ago or so when you and I were chatting in a coffee shop back when we could do those things, and you really wanted to think about how Rice could bring one of its core competencies, which is leadership development, to bear on Combined Arms and the communities that it serves. And so we're just honored, really, and privileged that we've gotten this far with you, and that we have come to this place where we're ready to launch this exciting new opportunity. And I think what we're working to do as part of the professional development vertical within the Combined Arms Institute is to provide a backbone or a pathway of leadership development for your emerging leadership within the communities that you serve. And what we're launching first is called the Leadership Principles Certificate. It's part of this VSO 2.0 Leadership Principles Certificate. And this program, which is the foundational program within this pathway, is competency-based. It's scientifically based. It's the core elements of the program include scientific assessments that everyone will take, all the participants will take. and that provide really new and deep insight into yourselves as leaders. But it's really made up of three core pieces, which are, as you might find in other contexts too, but leading yourself, leading teams, and then leading organizations and execution. And so an emerging leader within an organization could come to this program and really expect to get a full dose of self-awareness, to really understand what your strengths are, but also what your weaknesses might be, and how areas where you can work to grow over time. It'll help you work on personal adaptability, which is a key competency for leaders, and it'll give you tools for managing complexity as a leader. But it's also going to teach you a lot about emotional intelligence and how that plays out in the workplace as you work on teams. It'll give you tools to lead high-performing teams and to deliver feedback, which is one of the biggest challenges that leaders and managers face on a daily basis, is how to deliver feedback in a way that's transparent and effective. And then finally, that third core aspect of the program is managing organizations and execution. And so you have to learn how to manage conflict, how to drive results, how do you set goals, and then push and manage a team towards achieving those goals, and encourage them to achieve those goals. And today we're learning a lot about what it means to lead under constraints, and this is a big element of the program as well. But you'll also take time to learn about how to make quality decisions, whether those are qualitative or quantitative. But I think maybe, John, the most important aspect of the program is what we call the action, the AL, the Action Learning Project, which is a project in which each participant will bring something from their workplace, bring it to the class, and work on that throughout the time that they're in the class. It'll be facilitated by the coach that's teaching the course, and allow you to deliver something back to your organization. So most of the cost of this program is being supported right now by Combined Arms, but the organizations are going to have a little skin in the game too. And I think this is really where the payback comes out, and that's in this Action Learning Project, where you're going to bring. It's not just this is not leadership entertainment education. This is really a program where you're going to learn some skills, and hopefully it'll be interesting and engaging, but you're really going to come back to your organization with a product that both you and your managers or the people that you work with can be proud of, and can make an impact in the organization today. So I think this is the foundational piece. We're looking at rolling out 2 more aspects to this pathway over the next year or so. And if you'd like, I can talk more about those, but that's right now the Leadership Principles Certificate is the core piece that we're rolling out this fall.
Yeah, I'd love for you to talk about the second, so this is year 1, it's
right.
Almost like a 3-year program, a 3-year investment. You don't have to, right? Only a few probably will go from the Leadership Principles Certificate to the next level. But can you talk about the next level, and then Leadership Institute for Nonprofit Executives, which is like the 3rd year, like the capstone, your thesis almost in a way. And I'd love to share my experience as a Lion graduate as well.
Sure, absolutely. So the way that we've thought about this is that the first piece of the pathway is a foundational leadership program, which is Leadership Principles. The second piece is more oriented towards business and innovation. So it's a business acumen, it's an innovation. It's almost a short course in entrepreneurship, because as you know, John, and as a lot of leaders in nonprofit space know, running a nonprofit is really a lot like running your own small business. You're always working under constraints. You're always dealing with a dynamic marketplace, dynamic funding streams, and so the Foundations of Business and Innovation, which is it's a 75-hour course that will really go through the basic elements of business and running an enterprise as a small business that are all key concepts, in management, accounting, finance, and digital skills, which are going to be really critical to your success as a leader in a nonprofit. And then the capstone, as you say, is the Leadership Institute for Nonprofit Executives, or LINE. Is a program that's really meant for people who are either already in the executive's chair or aspiring to it. maybe they're in the first year or two of the executive chair, or they're aspiring to get there one day. This is a program that really gives you the full breadth of tools that you need to run a nonprofit, from fundraising to board development to operations, just all of the key pieces that a good ED needs to have in order to be successful.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Dr. Vassar. I think that, our investment in this program is actually supported by the Houston Endowment, as well as several other investors that have really kind of seen the vision to help professionalize and level up the veteran serving space using these great programs at Rice and some of our other partners whom I'll mention here in a bit. But from my experience at the Leadership Institute for Nonprofit Executives at Rice, at Glasscock School, it was a phenomenal experience. Actually, myself and Mia Garcia, who serves as our Texas Veterans Network Director, she also went through the course. And I think the things that you mentioned that you really learn and drill down on, like nonprofit finance, fundraising, management, HR, strategy, board relations, all these things that it's really not really taught in other courses when you're going through a typical degree program. This is something that's hyper focused on those individuals, as you mentioned, that may be rising to an executive role or aspiring to rise or already in the seat. And it just helps professionalize and invest in the space. So I'm super excited for more of my veteran service organization peers to go through this journey.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note that it's not only for those who want to be an executive director, but anybody who's kind of in that C-suite range, whether you're a chief development officer or a chief operations officer or a chief program officer. The line program really can be useful, just because it helps to see the enterprise-wide view of the organization and not just your one, the one piece of it that you run every day.
Yeah, and the good thing is, you don't have to live in Houston per se, because I think that there were some folks that traveled from out of town, even when it was in person, of course, and because they're spaced far enough out that, like, the in-person dialogue, at least, to where you can make it work. And now, I guess you guys pivoting this year to more of a virtual coursework.
Yes, it's 100% online right now, and it's online now because it has to be. But this is also going to be part of the new DNA of this program. It'll be offered in person probably on occasion, but it will always be offered online as well. And so it's not something that we just flip the switch and put it online. We're actually re-engineering it so that it performs online, which I think is really a key element. We're not just doing distance education; we're actually doing online education, which really, what that means basically is that the elements that you need to be successful as an online student will all be integrated into the program.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I know that Rice VSO 2.0 and the Leadership Principles Certificate that is actually open and available right now, and we're pushing the deadline out so that more folks can hear about it and apply for it. And I would highly encourage everyone to apply. You don't have to be in Houston. This is a national, kind of focused program for any professionals in the veteran serving space. We'd love to receive your application and see if it'll fit this year. But yeah, she's sorry. We're gonna, and Tina, you want to jump in as well, and then or we'll go to the website here in a second. But it's combinedarms.us/institute, and some of the other partners that we have that have been phenomenal, that are kind of 3-day workshops. So you have Rice VSO 2.0, which is really a semester-long engagement on each of the major portions of it, and then even on the Leadership Institute for Nonprofit Executives is a 9-month evolution. So it's a big commitment, but I think it's a really great in-depth program for us to professionalize our space. But LDR Leadership, they have a performance management series, and here you can see the website here. You can click on Rice VSO 2.0 or LDR Leadership. So LDR, they're our partners in developing this performance and deploying this performance management series. It's really focused on supervisors, whether you're an executive or a frontline supervisor. It's kind of applying a lot of these really fantastic military and corporate experience that these folks have brought to the fight to really help engage our space and professionalize our space. So we just completed the last cohort, which is all online, which is a couple weeks ago, and some of the feedback we got was incredible, and just this very similar to Rice VSO 2.0 or the last year when we were testing it. Really incredible feedback that we really made sure and focused on. Problem solving, coaching curriculum was very valuable. We have other comments like, this is a great course to sharpen any existing leadership skills and learn some new tools for your leadership toolbox. I think those are really great feedback points, and we're always about improvement of the process and improvement of the program and improvement of the offering to make sure that we're doing what we can to help level up and professionalize our space. So yeah, thanks Tina for pulling that up, and anyone can navigate to combinedarms.us/institute. And then if you want to go back and show the VSO 2.0, that's how you can actually access the Rice, the Rice offering as well. And really just hope that we have more folks that want to apply for it. Please share it with your colleagues, share it with your friends who want to work in this space and want to level up, and we will invest. As David mentioned, most of the is covered by our sponsors and partners, but we just ask for like a small commitment to make sure that the organizations or the individual has skin in the game. And all that information can be found on the website. There's a great video there that you can click on and check out of last year when we did our first cohort, and it was so successful that we decided to really kind of elevate this partnership, as Dr. Vassar mentioned earlier, into a multi-pronged, multi-year investment in our veteran serving organizations. So real quick, that's VSO 2.0 is really one of the three major legs of the Combined Arms Institute. So yeah, Tina, if you don't mind going back to the main page, and you'll see other buttons. So like policy and research, we really, the goal there is to really drive results with our academic partners. And here's three of them here. Other ones that I didn't mention are Notre Dame, which is doing a project for us right now and evaluating how effectively, we arrive at different outcomes for the clients that we serve through the social services program verticals. So making sure that they're, accessing resources quickly and effectively, and we're measuring that impact. Texas A&M did a really great capstone project, and put the Bush School, a bunch of graduate students did a great project, kind of evaluating like, what is this combined arms model? It's a mixture of this, it's a mixture of that, it's a mixture of this, and we're kind of trying to put all of this into one kind of set terminology, because it is something very new, it is something innovative, it is something disruptive that really hasn't been done in the veteran serving space before, and we shouldn't be afraid of that, but we should also want to improve upon that and continue to use the results that are garnered with our academic partners, with the policy or with the research that we're doing, to then impact more policy. And I'll talk about that more here in a second. And then finally, our best, by far one of our most active and best partners in the academic world is the University of Texas Institute for Military, Veteran, Family Wellness. It's the only academic institute that's dedicated to our tribe and investing in them. And so Dr. Bora and her team have done some great projects around how, what happens to the client after the outcome is achieved with the agency or organization they were referred to. What happens with the organization? How are we getting this feedback of, if the client said that they successfully achieved the outcome, well, what does that look like, and how can we measure it? On the organization side, if they say that they adequately served a client, they adequately helped a veteran or a spouse in achieving employment or veteran benefits or something like that, what constitutes a successful outcome in their eyes? So we're trying to almost standardize in a lot of ways that we refer to outcomes, what we refer. So making sure that we're speaking the same language bilaterally. And then Rice University and their School of Social Services and Social Policy did a really great project for us as well, kind of analyzing our longitudinal data, which shows some of the, at what point in a veteran's transition do we need to redeploy resources based on how they answer the well-being index. So all of this is de-identified data, so making sure that no one's private information is included in this, but just looking at the aggregated system level data and trying to understand, if we know that a veteran family member comes in that with a household income of X, and they're probably going to need access to financial assistance and employment, and how do we better serve and how do we deliver those services faster and more effectively to those more at-risk veteran families so that we can ensure that they don't fall through the cracks. The vision really for the policy and research is using the research to impact future policy to really fundamentally reform the defense transition process, the military transition process, because as we know, it's incredibly challenging when you have 250,000 young men and women and their families leaving the military every year. We're essentially creating 250,000 displaced workers every year. And how can we reach those individuals further upstream of their transition so that we as the communities that they're returning to can understand what they need before they even get here, so that we can wrap our arms around them and make sure that they are our community's next greatest asset, and we can invest and accelerate their transition from military to civilian life. So that's really the fundamental vision, and we can't do that without phenomenal academic and member organization partners like Rice, like Texas A&M, like UT, University of Texas, and like Notre Dame. And finally, the third vertical is our growth vertical. What that means broadly is how can we help other communities that may have high fragmentation among their veterans serving organizations, like Houston and like what many parts of Texas were originally. How can we help them essentially arrive at the same solutions that we did in a faster, more effective way? Is really learning from the mistakes that we've made here in Texas, and how do we scale that beyond our great state and to serve other communities. So we only work with communities and organizations that organically come to us and that want to work with us, that want to learn from all these mistakes and these best practices and these lessons learned. And we're absolutely happy and thrilled to be a part of that. But we needed to that, and we needed to ensure that if a community came to us wanting to utilize our technology and our disruptive technology platform that really helps veterans access services faster and more effectively, what does that look like? We also wanted to ensure that if we have other organizations and communities that wanted to learn more from our methodology and our process and our people, we needed to build a mechanism for that. So that's really what this is about, is helping other communities arrive at the same level of success that we have in a more accelerated way by learning from all of these mistakes, all of these lessons learned, all of these best practices. So would love for you to get y'all engaged in the Combined Arms Institute, learn more about our three verticals, apply for Rice VSO 2.0, which is open now and starting here this fall. And if you have any questions, if you have any thoughts, if you have any, groundbreaking ideas, we are always up for them. So please reach out to us via email, reach out to us via Facebook or Instagram or our website. And please, if you know a veteran or you know a family member or you know an active duty or guard or reserve member who needs help, who needs access to employment or VA benefits, VA healthcare, housing, social activity, social connectivity, volunteering, anything, please refer them to us, and we'll make sure that not only do they not fall through the cracks, but they'll become the next leaders of our community. Thanks, Tina. Over to you. And thank you again, Dr. Vassar, for your time and for your partnership.
Of course. Thank you.
Well, absolutely. Thank you so much, John. I think you hit everything. And we've got the link dropped in for the Combined Arms Institute. So if anybody wants to check out more information and, of course, apply for one of our programs. Dr. Vassar, can you give the application deadline one more time? And who is this program for? So my question is this open to just member organizations of Combined Arms, or can any veteran serving organization staff participate in this?
No, we would love to have any VSO staff member join. It's for those people who are emerging leaders within an organization, or maybe they've just stepped into a leadership role, but they want some more tools to be more effective in those roles. We would love to have them, and we know that this will have a great impact on them. We've extended the application deadline to August 31st, so you have this whole month to apply. It's a really quick application. It's just a few short questions, and then one sort of letter of recommendation from your supervisor or someone that works with you at your organization, so that we know that both you and your supervisor are committed to the time and effort that it'll take to complete the program. But I can guarantee you that you won't regret applying, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Awesome.
Well, thank you both so much. If anybody has any questions, many of our staff have attended these trainings, and we've also provided feedback for making changes to the curriculum. So if you have any questions at all, please reach out to me, tsalisbury@combinedarms.us. And I'm excited for this vision, John, that you've put into place, and for the future and how this is going to affect our organizations and our future partnerships as well.
Me too. Thanks, Tina. Thanks, David.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to be with you today.
Have a nice day, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.